Accuride Corporation, North America's predominant manufacturer of wheels and rims for trucks, trailers, and buses, is pleased to present servicing and maintaining demountable rims as another safety and training service to the transportation industry. This video presentation will help you understand how demountable rims can be kept in prime working condition. It will familiarize you with the proper procedures and tools for installing and servicing demountable rims to maximize safety and performance and to help minimize operating expense. Cast spoke wheels are widely recognized for their durability. They consist of a one-piece casting, which includes a hub and 3, 5, or 6 spokes. With a cast spoke wheel assembly, the tire is mounted on a demountable rim, which is secured to the spokes with clamps. Demountable rims may be either single-piece, used with tubeless tires, or multi-piece, used with tube-type tires. In dual installations, spacer bands separate the rims and keep the proper clearance between tires. During routine vehicle inspections, always check the rims and the cast spoke wheels. Look for signs that can indicate the need for servicing or replacement. Examine all metal surfaces thoroughly. Look for rust or corrosion, cracks, distorted, bent, broken, or worn components, signs of mismatching or improper fit, and loose, worn, damaged, or missing bolts, nuts, and clamps. Check tire inflation pressures. With multi-piece rims, if the tire has been run with less than 80% of its recommended inflation pressure, do not reinflate on vehicle. Deflate it completely and remove the tire and rim assembly from the cast spoke wheel. On dual assemblies, deflate both tires. When you are sure that deflation is complete, disassemble and inspect the tire and rim before reassembly and reinflating in a safety cage. When servicing demountable rims, use the proper tools to work safely and efficiently. You should have a jack and wheel block, a tire valve wrench, a dolly or tire lifting bar, a wire brush or file, an appropriate socket wrench, and a torque wrench. When removing the rim for servicing, first block the wheels so they remain stationary and jack up the vehicle. Then deflate the tire completely by removing the valve core and running a wire through the stem to make sure deflation is complete. Loosen the nuts with a socket wrench in a crisscross or alternating pattern. Because of the wedging action of the clamp on rear assemblies, make sure the clamp is loose before removing the nut. This prevents clamps from popping out. Then remove the rim, taking care not to damage the threads. Thread damage can impair proper clamping forces to the rim. After demounting the tire from the rim, inspect all metal surfaces on the rim and the spoke wheel for signs of damage or wear. Damage is usually a symptom of an underlying problem. Upon discovering damage, determine the cause and correct it. Look for any condition that impairs proper function or fit-up, such as excessive rust or corrosion buildup. Look for cracks in metal. With tube-type demountable rims, rim base cracking can be a sign of overloading, overinflating, tool damage, corrosion or abrasion, improper cleaning, or improper clamping force. Cracks in tubeless rims can be due to moisture, pitting or erosion from the tire bead, overloading or overinflating, use of an improper mounting lubricant, or improper clamping force. Cracking around or between valve locators can be a sign of overloading. Look for bent, broken, or worn studs, nuts, clamps, or spacer bands. Look for improperly fitted or mismatched components and irregular mounting surfaces. A demountable rim out of round condition called cording can indicate excessive or improper torque, the wrong hub or clamp, a severe impact, running flat, or hammering on the rim gutter or mounting ring. A sheared or distorted valve locator can indicate insufficient torque, improper clamp wedge length, or improper components. Inspect the valve stem grommet and replace if necessary. Immediately mark damaged parts and destroy them so they cannot be reused. Do not attempt to weld, braze, bend, or in any way repair a damaged component. Never insert tubes in tubeless tires to stop rim air leakage. Replace all parts not fit for service with new ones. The TMC Wheel and Rim Out of Service Guide provides valuable information to determine the cause of rim and wheel problems and the appropriate actions to correct them. Before reusing rim assemblies, thoroughly remove rust, dirt, and other foreign matter from all surfaces, especially mating areas, using a hand or electric wire brush, light sandblasting, or a solvent bath. Examine closely the tire side of the rim, as well as the 28-degree beveled mounting surface where the rim attaches to the wheel. This surface must be smooth as well as clean. Remove any projections, burrs, or paint buildup. Also, check the rim surfaces where the tire bead seats on the rim. Make sure that the rim seating area is clean and free of rust, corrosion, and rubber deposits. For multi-piece rims, also check the gutter of the rim and the rings. Painting the metal surfaces of the wheel and rim will help prevent rusting and corrosion. This is especially important for tubeless rims, since moisture inside the air chamber increases the likelihood of corrosion. Before repainting, make sure metal surfaces are clean and dry. Brush or spray a fast-drying metal primer on all bare metal surfaces, including the tire side of the rim. Excessive paint and paint buildup and runs must be avoided. Allow paint adequate time to cure. It must be dry and hard before installation to ensure adequate protection and allow the components to wedge together properly and prevent nut torque loss. When mounting the tire on the rim, verify that the tire and rim are properly matched in size and that all multi-piece rim components match. Consult the multi-piece rim matching chart. If you cannot identify the rim components, do not use them. Do not assume that just because components came in together, they are properly matched. Just before mounting the tire, lubricate the tire side of the rim base and the tire beads with a combination lubricant and rust preventative compound. Use only lubricants recommended by rim and tire makers, such as vegetable oil and animal soap solutions. Do not use petroleum, silicone, or solvent-based lubricants that may damage the tire rubber or cause rust buildup or tire-to-rim slippage. The air supply should incorporate moisture traps to prevent water or moisture from getting inside the tire. Refer to the AccuRide Rim, Wheel Safety and Service Manual to determine the proper tire mounting instructions for the type of rim being used. You may also refer to the Accuride video, servicing single and multi-piece wheels. When servicing tire and rim assemblies, always follow the procedures and safety precautions outlined in OSHA Standard 1910.177. Included in these important requirements are: when deflating, remove the valve core. Run a wire through the stem to make sure deflation is complete. Inspect the condition of the rim. Check the service literature or wall chart to make sure you are working with properly matched components. These can be obtained from OSHA or your rim and wheel manufacturer or dealer. Be certain components are properly seated before inflation. Inflate using a clip-on air chuck with remote inline valve and gauge. During inflation, keep the assembly inside a safety cage or OSHA-approved restraining device. Both the tire and rim have specific inflation pressure ratings. Inflate only to the lower of the two. Check the seating of components before removing the assembly from the restraining device. When inflating or when handling an inflated assembly, stay clear of the trajectory. Also, warn those around you to stay clear of the trajectory. Before installing a demountable rim and tire assembly on a cast spoke wheel, inspect all parts for damage and to make sure they match. Not all demountable rims have the same offset. Use the proper size tires, rims, spacer bands, and clamps for adequate dual spacing and vehicle clearance. A change in spacer band width requires a change in clamp wedge length. If you're using an 8 1/2 inch or wider rim, you must use a special size spoke wheel, spacer band, and or clamps to accommodate the extra thickness of the rim. You cannot use an 8 1/2 inch or wider rim with a standard spoke wheel. Do not use a standard rim, those 8-inch and narrower, or a tubeless rim, on a spoke wheel designed for an 8 1/2 inch or wider rim, even though it may seem to fit. Using a standard rim on a spoke wheel designed for an 8 1/2 inch and wider rim will reduce the surface mounting area, resulting in improper clamping forces, which could cause the rim to become loose and lead to premature rim cracking in the gutter or mounting areas. When servicing a dual wheel assembly, inspect the spacer band for concentricity and proper width. Spacer bands, by design, will deflect to maintain torque and may eventually need replacing. Make sure the spacer is not cracked, distorted, or bent. Replace damaged spacer bands and those with more than 1/8 inch reduction in width. Inspect nuts, studs, and clamps to ensure that they are not worn and to verify that they are the proper parts for your installation. Ensure that the 28-degree beveled mounting surfaces of the rim, spoke wheel, and dual rear clamps are smooth, clean, and free from grease. The contoured surface of single front clamps must mate with the rim completely. Point contact may result in damaged components or allow rims to become loose and slip. After ensuring that all parts are correctly matched and proper for the application, inflate the tire following the OSHA safety procedures. To install a front single assembly, first align the rim so the valve locators and valve are centered between two spokes. Make sure the valve stem is pointing out